Greetings to you all. I hope you have been well and life is treating you good. If you enjoy my content, please like, subscribe, click the notification bell and take a look at my social media content. With that said, I have a truly titanic treat for my most terrifically tubular fellow retro gamers, friends, and all who have started to walk on this most noble of paths. Today we are dissecting, discerning and delving into one of my favourite games of all time. Here we have Doom for the mighty PlayStation 1 games console. This behemoth of a game changed the gaming landscape in ways beyond initial comprehension. Doom began life on the PC as a natural evolution of the game that started it all, Wolfenstein 3D. This game improved upon its predecessor in almost every way, adding multiplayer options and more detailed graphics and maps. The complete story of Wolfenstein 3D and Doom for PC is a topic for entire videos of their own, so we won't be covering that today. No. Today we will be focusing purely on the PlayStation port and what set it apart from other ports. This game was released at the end of 1995. A merging of Ultimate Doom and Doom 2, and this was handled by Williams Entertainment. It was ported from the esteemed Atari Jaguar version of this game, and with a rock solid DNA, the game is already onto a good start. The Jaguar port game engine was adapted to take full advantage of the PlayStation's strengths and hardware. Capitalising on the PlayStation's power, the game had some unique enhancements made to the graphical side of things. This included transparencies on some monsters, animated computer screens, some of the skies were animated, coloured lighting effects and even greater colours in game. Sound-wise, Williams developed its own custom music and sound effects, which were very atmospheric and unique to the port. If the player is in a roofed area, the game's sound effects will have an echo effect. Due to the PlayStation's hardware limits, when in comparison to the PC original, certain cuts and omissions had to be applied to this port. I consider them to be adaptations to maximise the hardware, but this is because I am in denial and love this version above all others. Certain monster animations were reduced, sprites were scaled down, maps condensed, art assets not used, and monster placements altered slightly. However, in spite of these cutbacks, the game retained the soul of Doom as a fast-paced, intense first-person shooter with lots of keys to find. In some ways, it became something else, a reimagining of the original to suit a different platform and audience. This is perhaps comparable to a quality adaptation from a beloved book made into a legendary movie. These are my views. Now it's time to ask our new panel of experts.
This is why we play Doom. This is why we never see the sky. Remember this game, boys. It'll be yours for all time. Ho, ho, ho.
Hear these words and witness my vow. Monsters on Phobos gather, and now my watch begins. It shall not end until my bedtime. I shall have no friends and partake in no social life, and keep no pets. I will get no haircuts and win no promotions at work. I will live and sleep at my sofa. I am the Doom guy in the night. I am the hunter in the dark. I am the marine that protects humanity. I will give my life to the Union Aerospace Corporation for this night until I'm done. Now my watch begins.
Okay, that was even more disturbing than last time. Doom has a simple but fantastic story that is the stuff of 1980s action and horror movies. You are a disgraced elite marine who assaulted his commanding officer when he ordered the team to fire an innocent. Due to this action, you were shipped off to the scientific testing station based on the planet Mars. These testing stations are run by the UAC, which stand for Union Aerospace Corporation. They are a benevolent organisation who work towards the betterment of humanity. Wait. Actually, they primarily deal in experimental weapons research, with their current project being interdimensional related, as you do. Something goes wrong with the teleportation gates on the moons of Mars, known as Phobos and Deimos. Shockingly enough, hell literally breaks out and the bases become overwhelmed with demons, monsters, and other vile beings. A security force is dispatched to engage the invaders, but are promptly wiped out. Then, to add insult to injury, they are brought back as zombies. In response to this catastrophe, an elite special forces team heads out to put this disaster to bed. You are part of this crack commando team. Due to your past discretions of being a naughty boy, you must stay behind and secure the perimeter. After some time passes, you realise that the radio communications between the team go silent. You become aware that you are alone and your team are either dead or worse. Your only option is to advance through the base, avenge your fallen comrades, and find a way to safety if possible. Who knows, you may even find a fellow lone survivor. This game features compatibility with a rarely discussed PlayStation link cable for multiplayer modes. Like other link cable games, you are required to have 2 consoles, a link cable, 2 copies of the game, and a second television. Oh, and a friend to play with helps. The available modes are Deathmatch, a term which Doom actually coined, and then there is also a cooperative mode where the 2 of you engage in the campaign side by side as brothers or sisters in arms. This mode is where the real fun is, and in my view remains one of the greatest multiplayer cooperative game experiences. With this being a classic game, it does not hold your hand. Friendly fire is a very real thing, and when you die you respawn with none of your equipment or weapons bar a pistol, a few shots and brass knuckles for melee. There is also no way to regain them other than to hunt for fresh gear. In later and harder levels this can make for a very frustrating series of nigh instant deaths. The solution is not to die and be an effective team, and also to take as many of them down with you as possible. There are a massive variety of foes to face, tons of levels, epic battles with literally dozens of monsters and gear to loot. Very few modern games offer war on this scale and pace. There are 4 levels of difficulty on PS1 Doom. The first and easiest is called I Am a Wimp. Then there is the harder skill level named Not Too Rough. And next the tougher known as Hurt Me Plenty. And the experts or sadists difficulty known as Ultra Violence. Please forgive the names, as this game is from a bygone era of rage and testosterone, hypermasculinity and flipping big guns. Yes, we were cavemen by today's standards. As I touched on earlier, this game features, at least by today's standards, a small yet fine array of weapons, equipment and so on. There is the humble starting pistol with standard bullets to supply it. This weapon is modest in power, but reliable in terms of range and ammo availability. Against some of the larger monsters and legions, this weapon will not be enough. Although it does not count as equipment per se, you also have your fist with brass knuckles included. This is very weak and should be a literal last resort. Then there is the trusty shotgun. This weapon is powerful, reliable, and takes shotgun shells. These are very common and plentiful. This will be your bread and butter weapon. It is great against all foes up to medium power and group size. Massive groups or super powerful enemies may leave the shotgun wanting. Next you have the minigun. This weapon is like taking the pistol and adding several more barrels to it. And remember, they fire all at once. It has solid crowd control power and also mows down individual foes before they can fire back. It takes the same ammo that the pistol does, but beware, it eats up bullets like no one's business. This weapon, in terms of power and use, stands about toe to toe with the shotgun. Anything up to mid-level it can own, but once things get stronger, it shows its limitations. The double-barreled shotgun is a blessing of a weapon. It is approximately twice the firepower and area of effect as a standard shotgun. The only downside is that there is a larger pause between shots for reload, and it uses twice the ammo. This weapon uses the same shells as a standard shotgun, so keeping it supplied is not too difficult. In terms of power, it can deal with anything below the greatest foes of hell with relative effectiveness. This weapon is essentially a rich man's shotgun, and it's a mainstay in your arsenal. Here we have the mighty plasma rifle. This weapon churns out rapid bolts of plasma energy with a large amount of firepower. The plasma rifle will bring down foes quickly, but it is slightly harder to aim with than most guns due to its stopping power and rapid fire. It runs on energy cells that are not as common as a marine would hope for. This tool of war eats up ammo even quicker than the minigun does. The plasma rifle is excellent for dealing with larger and nastier enemies, but it is overkill for the small fries. No foe in the game can ignore this weapon when it deals out its payload. Now we discuss the grenade launcher, a situational weapon that ranges from devastating to self-destructive. This weapon has large area of effect damage, so if you are close to the impact site, then you will go down with it. Warning: do not use this weapon for quick draw firefights and tight corridors. Hold it back until the right opportunity arises. This weapon uses rocket shells as ammo. They are not that common and can be found by the observant warrior. The grenade launcher deals out massive firepower, and it will turn enemy legions to mush, and no enemy is above the punishment that this weapon deals. With mad bloodshot eyes do we discuss the next weapon, the fearsome chainsaw. This weapon is a close combat attack like the brass knuckles, but much more powerful. It is the weapon of last resort. It requires no ammo, it takes no fuel, and it goes on and on until you switch weapons or fall in battle. This weapon is not to be relied on and only used as a last resort. Then we have the mighty BFG. BFG stands for Big Flipping Gun, only it wasn't flipping. This is the gun of legend, the gun that armies or lords of hell cannot dismiss. This weapon has more stopping power and area of effect than even the grenade launcher. Upon pressing the trigger you have a couple of seconds of pause as it gathers its energy, then boom, it deals out a single shot that takes down pretty much anything. So powerful is this gun that we used to call it the God Gun. It uses the same power cells as the plasma gun as ammo. This thing takes up many plasma shots worth of ammo to create just one single blast. In spite of its stopping power, this gun is a situational weapon. It chews through ammo shockingly fast, and with the pause between shooting and a single shot of action, it makes it impractical to say the least. The small first aid kit, known as the Stim Pack. This heals 10% of lost health. These are plentiful and max out at 100% health. Then there is the medium first aid kit, known as the Medikit. This heals 25% of health. These are fairly common. Like the Medikit, they max out healing at 100%. There are little blue flasks called health potions. These heal you 1% and will take your health above 100%. There is a black medium first aid kit. This is known as a Berserk Pack. This heals you 100%, makes you literally see red and endows you with super strength. Use this item and then go into a room full of monsters. You will tear them apart with your bare hands. For protection, there is a green suit of armour known as security armour. This gives you 100% of your armour. For maximum protection, there is a blue suit of armour. This is called combat armour. This gives you 200% of armour and really helps keep you alive for a few seconds longer. Spiritual armour appears as a small grey warrior's helmet. Once you take it, your armour goes up by 1% and it can take your armour value over 100%. If you find a white set of overalls, then you have discovered the not so common radiation suit. This suit will protect you from damage when you stand on the green slime and some other types of harmful floors. This can potentially allow you to access otherwise secret areas to gain access to more supplies and rooms. This protects you for about a minute. If you are lucky, or explore enough, then you will eventually find a megasphere. This is a ball with a face within it. Upon taking it, you get 200% health. This is a rare and fantastic item. The backpack is just that, a backpack. You collect it and it can hold up to double the amount of ammo as your previous maximum. Finding keys is a critical part of the game. They come in various colours and correspond to doors with the same colour on them. Without keys you cannot access all areas and not complete many levels. They are obviously common, but often you need to slay many foes to get to them. Computer maps are fairly uncommon, and discovering them reveals the entire map of your level. These are non-essential but nice bonus for sure. Graphically they appear as a sort of monitor. Partial invisibility is a nice item that takes the form of a sort of a giant blue eye and a bloodshot red eyeball. Do not make the mistake of feeling that you are truly invisible and end up getting a false sense of security. The enemy, in basic terms, are less accurate and responsive to your presence, but they can and will still fight back. This boon lasts for around a minute. The next item is one that many feel is of limited value. To me, it is a godsend and really helps with the exceptionally dark PlayStation 1 port of this game. What am I talking about? The light amplification visor. You get about 2 minutes of extra in-game brightness from this rarish item. Enjoy it while you last. Invulnerability appears as a large green ball with a skeletal face inside who has red eyes. You become pretty much immortal for 30 seconds and the world appears very bright. This item is quite rare and comes in really handy when the enemy hordes are large or a mighty foe approaches. Well, in truth I could discuss this game for hours, but all things must come to an end. Maybe someday I will do a part 2 to this video. I will definitely do a sister video regarding Final Doom for the PlayStation 1. If you have any questions or requests, please leave a comment. Anyway, I hope you'll have a wonderful day and take care of yourselves. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and click the notification bell. Thank you for all your support. Goodbye for now.